What is up, guys? I am back to review even more incredible features announced at Canva Create.
Give it up!
In this video, I am taking you on a deep dive into 10 features that will completely rock your design world. So get comfy, buckle up, and let's get started. Before we get started, I just wanted you to know that this is video 2 of our Canva Create updates. There is video 1 where I review all of the AI-powered features, all of the magic features. So make sure you watch this other video next if you haven't watched it yet. I will have a link in the description, but also a card at the end of the tutorial. Now, that being said, let's jump into the 10 non-AI powered features also announced at Canva Create. The first new feature we need to talk about is the brand new Canva Assistant. I am here in a random Canva document. This is an Instagram post, but it doesn't really matter. What I want to show you is this little guy right here. In the bottom right corner of your screen, it says Canva Assistant when you hover your mouse over it. If I click it, I am greeted by this welcome message. It says, "Welcome to Canva Assistant. Quickly access anything, get recommendations, or search Canva all from this one magical button." So in a nutshell, the Canva Assistant is your one-click solution to search, get suggestions, start creating content, maybe open a specific project that you have designed in Canva, or maybe find some elements or maybe some templates in the Canva library. It is a companion for you to design with. So let's explore a little bit of the options that are offered to me with the Canva Assistant. I can see here some recommended actions because it recognizes my document is empty. So it suggests me to start creating some text, maybe using Magic Write, the AI copy assistant, add some text box, or simply just click on more and find some other actions. Like you have all types of different actions you can take with Canva. So something I want to show you, I'm going to use a template right here. Let's use this one with a bit of text. So the template is now applied to my page. If I click on the background, which is an image, okay, this is a photo, you can see the edit photo button. If I have that selected and open the assistant again, Canva is going to suggest me some actions related to my image, like magic eraser, magic edit, the background remover, and I can see more if I click on the See More button, like crop, transparency, all types of features or options that are related to my photo. Now, if I click on text, I will see something different. Actions related to text, like summarize the text, expand the text, rewrite, edit with Magic Write. So all of these are related to Magic Write. I can add some effects to my text. I can change the font, can play with the font size, etc., etc. So this is pretty amazing that it recognizes what is selected and suggests me some specific actions for that type of element. Now, what else can we do with this? If you continue to scroll down, Canva will suggest you some other elements or graphics that you could use in that document that Canva thinks would go well with what's already on your page. So that could be some graphics like these right here, could be some photos like these right here at the bottom. So that's the suggestions, the recommendation, which are pretty customized based on what's on your page. Now, there's a last thing you can do with the assistant is to search for something specific. For example, if I type in what's hot 27 and just hit enter, Canva is going to recommend me some graphics that have to do with the number 27 because it recognizes that from my input right here. But if I keep scrolling all the way down, I would come to a section called projects. And here we could see my specific Canva design, Canva project called What's Hot episode 27, which is the previous episode I shot. So yeah, this is pretty nice. I could open this somewhere. I guess I can, yeah, it will open here in the object panel with all of the slides from this specific project. So I can now easily repurpose some of that content, bring it to my current design, etc., etc. So in a nutshell, the Canva Assistant will allow you to find anything super quickly and therefore access more of the Canva library, because sometimes we might not know everything that's available. So it kind of gives you a glimpse of what's out there to grab, to discover discover. So that's the first thing, discover new content. Second, it is your design co-pilot, your design partner, kind of telling you what other features you could use when you select specific elements. You might not know that you can remove the background. You might not know that you can swap the font easily via this shortcut. So by using the Canva Assistant, you have this companion helping you to make the next logical decision in your design workflow. And third, it gives you customized recommendation. This is very powerful to help you supercharge the design workflow, because it might help you find the perfect sticker to go with your presentation. It might suggest you the right font to go with your presentation, etc., etc. It gives you customized recommendation based on what's already right there in your project. So absolutely look for that little guy right there in the lower right corner of your screen, the Canva Assistant. In terms of availability, the Canva Assistant is a desktop-only feature, at least for now, so you won't find this on mobile. But the good news is that it is available for all users, so that is pro and free users alike. Start using it, you won't regret it. Moving on to the second new feature, and this one, oh boy, this one you will love it because you've been asking for this one for a very long time. I don't even remember. I'm talking about layers. Canva finally introduced layers. So let me show you how they work. Okay, so this is a thumbnail that we created for a previous episode, actually episode 1 of Pro Tips. If you haven't yet watched this video, go and find it on our channel. It is the show where I interview other content creators and experts, and they give us actionable tips for us to become better content creators.
And I was expecting to see a growth, but not that growth. I was actually a bit skeptical. This is what I think it's important for anyone that wants to create content about a specific topic to think outside of the box.
So absolutely find this episode and go watch it on our channel. I have more episodes to come. Anyway, I'm just wandering away here. Layers. Let's talk about layers, and let me show you where to find them and how to use them. So you can see here, I have a bunch of different elements on this thumbnail. So in order to make the layers visible, you need to first click on the position button right here. And then you should land on layers right here. It might be that you are on this page, you don't see any layers because you are on the Arrange tab. But if you switch over the Layers tab, this is where all the layers are located. You see I have approximately 10-12 layers right here, and I can easily take a layer. For example, let's grab Robson's layer right here and put it on top of me like so, and now Robson is covering me and therefore should be placed back here because it makes more sense like so. So it is really that easy. If you want to move a layer up or down on your design, you just grab it and just move it and drop it wherever you want. And that will adjust the positioning of that layer. No more going to the forward and backward button and just clicking and clicking and trying to reach a specific layer. Now, with this kind of user interface, it is super easy, super convenient. And I am kind of thankful that Canva waited that long to create such a polished interface for us to play around with, because this is top notch. I mean, they nailed it. What else can we see here in the layers interface? Well, we can see that some of these layers are actually grouped. For example, this one, my photo right here, you see it's two different things. There is my photo and there is the badge right here. Similarly, this layer right here that says content is also a group of different elements. We have the text box that says content, and we have the shape, the blue shapes. That's actually more than one shape. There are two different shapes here. So I like that we do have this information right here when it is a group of elements. Something else you can do is to click on the three little dots of any layers right here. So if I click here, I can copy style to quickly copy the style or the attribute to another element. I can continue to use the old positioning options by going to the layers button right here, bring forward, send backwards, etc., etc. I can ungroup, I can lock them, I can attribute a link to that specific layer, etc., etc. I can even download just this selection, just this layer. So these are pretty awesome features. And then the very last thing I want to show you is that the base layer will have this background icon right here, indicating this is your background. And this one can actually not be moved. This is the base layer aka the background. Before we move on to the next feature, there's something else I want to show you. This first button right here that says Arrange. Okay, if I click on Arrange and I click on an element, I now have some advanced positioning feature. So all of this right here at the bottom that we didn't have before. Now, these are some more precise way of moving an element on your page. So we have two types of options right here. The first line, width and height, will be for scaling up or down your element. You can do so manually by simply changing the value right here. So going from 438 to maybe 1000 will make this much bigger. Now I'm gonna go back to 438 like so. So that is for the width. You can do the same for the height. And then the second line right here will basically change the positioning of that element on my page. So if I type 100 here, it will move to the right, okay? So again, I'm gonna undo this, but that's basically what it is. And then you have some more precise rotation option as well. You can go very granular with 1 decimal. So you could say, I don't know, rotate this maybe minus 25.8 degrees, and it will do exactly that. So it gives you more granular control about the positioning, but also the scaling of specific elements on your page. So this is well done, I think. So there you go, layers finally hit your Canva account. This is going to be available to all users and will work on both your mobile and your desktop versions of Canva. This was also something you guys wanted. So yeah, thank you Canva for bringing that to the editor. Alright guys, I hope you are enjoying these updates. For those of you who are more into short form content versus my long videos, Diana is experimenting with a new format of YouTube Shorts to break down each of these new features or each of these new Canva Create announcements. So if you want to watch that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That way these videos will pop up in your Shorts feed whenever you open YouTube. So yeah, subscribe to the channel. Also, give this video a good old like because why not? Alright, moving on to the third new feature. What's more lovable than layers in Canva? Well, maybe gradients. Canva recently introduced some new gradient features. Let me show you how they work. So you can now, by clicking on a background, for example, and going to your color button, if you click on the plus, like add a new color, you should see a tab called gradient. So the way it works, you select a solid color. For example, let's go for a nice blue, like something like so. And then you head over your gradients and Canva will use that solid color and combine it with another one to create a cool gradient, like the one you're seeing right here. So the novelty here, because we could already create gradients, not this way, but we could already create gradients in Canva with some elements that they had. But here you can do this straight from the color panel, which is cool. And we have more options. For example, we have different kind of linear gradients. So with light coming from different parts of different angles of the gradient. We can create circular gradient like this one with the focal point right here in the middle, or we can move this source of light to any of the corners of your design. So this is a novelty. Another novelty is that you can just pop another color right here. Let's go for something like so to add a third color. And you can add a fourth color. So let's go for white. And you can add a fifth color. So let's go for dark. And just like so, you can add a multitude of color. Earlier, I tried with 10 or so colors and I could still add more. So I actually don't know what the limit is, but you can have fun with this. And this is cool because then once you have all of your colors, you can rearrange the gradient as you like. So that is pretty cool. Something else that I like about this update is that you can come back. So you can use another color on, for example, you decide, let's not use a gradient, let's use this blue color. But later you can come back because this gradient will be kind of like saved into your document colors, okay? It will still be there, it will remain there as long as you don't like switch document or anything like that. So you can create a variety of different gradients that will always be here. And if you click on it, you will see this little setting icon popping up and you can go back to your gradient and just tweak it to your taste. So this is really cool. You can really play around with this and save these as just a normal color in your document. So really love that. Now, let me delete this and show you that gradients not only will fill up your background, but also different types of shapes. Okay, so let's try with a shape. Let's create a circle with the letter C on my keyboard. It creates a red circle. Similarly, you can click on the color, click right here, or you can click on the plus button, the color button, or you can scroll all the way down to see some samples of gradients. So if that is something you would like to use, you can use them from here. Canva gives you a little overview of what you can do. But if I come back to the color button right here, it will start using the colors that are already in my document. I can add another color. So let's add some orange to this. And what I want to show you is that when you have a shape, you can obviously rotate your shape to kind of change the orientation of the light source of your gradient. So that is also pretty cool. So it works super well with all sorts of shapes. If you click on the shape button, you can play around with all of these shapes and your gradient will just port over any of the shapes you are using here. So this is pretty cool as well. And then I discovered that this also works with your frames and grids. Let me show you. If you head over your documents and scroll down all the way to the frame section right here, let's click on see all and find a frame that looks cool. I could have a triangle, for example, like this triangle right here. I'm going to change the color of the background to black to have some contrast here. Now I select my frame right here, this triangle, but instead of dropping an image inside the frame, I could use a gradient. Okay, so go on the plus button, use a gradient, and just start adding some colors. So let's go this color and maybe another green, darker green, something like this. And you create a very cool gradient within a frame. So that really opens up the field of possibilities because Canva has a bunch of these frames and grids. So you can really play around with them, create some cool like gradient-y shapes and elements to match your brand, to match a specific design you are creating and really have fun with these gradients. Now there is one thing I know you guys are going to be asking in the comments, can I do this in a text box? Can I use a gradient in a specific word I am writing with Canva, with a text box, with some fonts that are available in Canva? And the answer is unfortunately no. Canva didn't ship that feature together with the rest of the gradient features. I guess it must be difficult to do for them, otherwise they would probably have done it. But it's a little bit annoying to see them using this technique all over Canva Create and us, poor users, not being able to access these features. So please, Canva, tell us your best kept secret and how do you add a gradient into a word, into a text box. That would be amazing. I know that would make the community so happy. So fingers crossed, we'll have that in the next Gradient-y update. Thank you, Canva. In terms of availability, this is available to all users and it works both on mobile and desktop. So go check it out. The next new feature I want to talk about is called grid layouts. And this one allows us to use pre-configured grid layouts on our design or even create our own custom grid layout. So let me show you how this works. This is pretty much an improvement of the already existing guides that we could create in Canva. Remember the rulers and guides? So in order to activate them, you go to your file button right here, go to your view settings, and this was the good old rulers and guides, like show rulers and guides. But now there's this other option that says add guides. So if you click on that, you should see the pre-configured guide layouts for you. So you have a 12-column layout, looks like so, a 6-column layout, a 3x3 layout, or you can create your very own custom grid right here. So you could have, for example, 5 columns and 5 rows, gives you something like this. You could have 2 and 2, oh, not 25, but 2, 2 and 2, add guides, so it just divides the page into 4, etc., etc. You can really create whichever grid works for you and your specific design. And then it's super easy to snap your elements to your guides like so, to align them very easily. If they are rotated like my circles right here, it's not that simple. But there you go. You can really create these very perfectly aligned designs by using these custom guides. So what else can we do? There's a few more things I want to show you. So if you go back to your view settings right here, we can see that we can now clear all the guides all at once. It was so painful before. We had to take out all of the guides out and drag them out of your design area one by one. But now I can just clear all guides and they are all gone. So wonderful. There's a few more things. If I come back to view settings, I can now lock the guides. So this is also a very useful addition because previously, it was pretty common to try to select an element and then we would select the guide and then move it, and then we would have to position it at the right place, at the right position again. So now you can very easily, and by default, these guides will be locked, but you can unlock them. So now you can move them. And if you want to lock them again, just go to Files, View Settings, Lock Guides, and then all of your guides will be locked. So now you can easily go fetch this circle right here without moving your guide. So this is pretty well done by Canva. I love that feature, avoiding us a lot of mistakes, I would say, when you are trying to select individual elements that might be very close to a guide. And then last but not least, guides are now available on mobile. Yep. You heard correctly, guides are making their way to the mobile experience, which is pretty awesome because that was not an easy thing to do in my opinion, and Canva nailed it. Like, it's the same user experience pretty much than what I just showed you here on desktop. So yeah, go check it out on your mobile. In terms of availability, this is available for all users, free and pro, and across all devices. So yeah, go have some fun with guides. All right, let's move on to the next set of new features, starting with the main one, which is called Brand Hub. Okay, the Brand Hub is now your central place to control everything that is related to your logos, to your colors, to your fonts, to your icons, graphics, photos that you might have in your brand kits. Remember the brand kits? This is where you would set your color palette, define your fonts if you're a pro user, and maybe have a couple of logos there. Well, it's kind of like your brand kit has been supercharged, and now you can add more things to it. But mostly the experience of controlling these brand assets are centralized in one central place called the Brand Hub. And we can access it from the editor. It is this button right here. This button used to be called Brand. Now it is called Brand Hub. If we click on it, we see different kinds of assets right here. And we are going to start describing them one by one. But before I do so, I want to warn you that Brand Hub is mostly a pro feature. I say mostly because free users will still be able to access some of these features, but they will be very limited. And I will come to that in a minute. So pro users will see all of what you're seeing right here on my screen. This is my pro account. I'm going to show you what it looks like from a free account in a second, but this is the pro experience, I would say. It starts with your brand templates. So any templates that you have created and given access to your team, they will show up here. Next, you should see a section with your different brand kits, okay? You can have up to 300 brand kits in your Brand Hub, and you can navigate through these different brand kits with this little arrow right here that I just clicked. And you see here, I have 6 different brand kits. So I can switch from one to the other. I could go to Ronnie's brand kit, and then I will have different assets right here. So what you will see is your logos, you will see your colors, you will see your fonts, some photos, graphics, and icons. And I love that we can access all of these brand assets when we click on the See All. For example, the photos right here, if I click on See All, I see all of the photos that I have uploaded to this specific brand kit. So that is very convenient because I can give my team access to this, or when I'm designing with this specific brand kit, I know that I have everything that I need right there in my Brand Hub. So it's really a tool that empowers you and your team to remain on brand. Canva understood that consistency is key in design, and therefore, in order to remain consistent, you need to have all of your design ingredients right there and be able to package them, I would say, into different brand kits. And before we move on to the next improvement, also related to the Brand Hub and the brand assets, I want to show you what the experience looks like from my free account. So this is one of my Canva free accounts, and I am here on the Brand Hub, and you can see it looks quite different. I don't have any of the team templates right here because it's only available for pro users. In terms of the brand kits, I only have one. I don't have an option to have or to add several brand kits, so it's just limited to one brand kit. I cannot add my logos. I can add some colors. That's why I was saying it's mostly a pro feature, because you can still access the color palette, which is the bare minimum. And also your color palette will still be limited to 3 colors, so not much room to play with here. So I have my 3 colors. I cannot set my fonts, I cannot add photos, cannot add graphics, nor icons. So this is what the Brand Hub looks like on a free account. And if we come to the Canva homepage, we can also locate the Brand Hub from there with the little crown icon that indicates me that it is mostly a pro feature. When I click on it, this is what it looks like from here. So you can see that I can add some stuff, but pretty much everything is locked because this is my free account. So in my opinion, this is a very good reason to upgrade to Canva Pro, because this consistency in design, the ability to yourself have everything you need to stay on brand right there in the editor when you design, but also for your team to be working with these brand assets and stay on brand is very powerful. So yeah, if you want to give Canva Pro a spin, there is an affiliate link in the description of this video. You get 15 more days, so that is a total of 45 days that you can try Canva Pro for free. If you don't like it, you can cancel at any time, but if you do like it, you will be charged after 45 days. So the link will be in the description. That is our affiliate link. It supports the channel, so if you're considering Pro, thank you for using that link. Now, back to my Pro account, I want to show you some more features related to the Brand Hub. Okay, let's see everything that is new and related to this new Brand Hub, because this is a major announcement that they made at Canva Create. There was an entire section about this. I want to spend a little bit more time to really give you the breakdown of everything that changes in this area of Canva. This is going to be mostly related to people working with a team, but there are still stuff if you are an individual user that might be super relevant for you. Let's start with everything that's new, okay? So I'm here on the Canva homepage doing some sparkles with my mouse here, and if you want to access the Brand Hub, just click on this menu item here that says Brand Hub. Okay, click here, and Pro users will be able to see all of their different brand kits from here in your Brand Hub. Me, I'm gonna click on Ronnie's brand kit right here and start breaking down every single section to show you what's new here. I've done my homework and kind of set all of that brand kit so it looks great. I have assets in every single section of it. So let's start with the logos, okay? If I click on the three little dots right here, I could get the colors from a logo. If I click here, will generate a color palette, and it asks me, do you want to keep this or remove it? Okay, I don't need that right now. What else can I do from here? I can download the logo. I can replace this logo across all of the designs that I have created in Canva that are using this logo. I talk about this feature in my other video, the AI-powered features of Canva Create. So if you want to see what that does, go check out this other video. And I can delete this logo plain and simple, which I'm not going to do. Next, the colors. A couple of additions here. Well, you have a different display. This is all of your color palette. You can click here, reorder them. You can copy to another brand kit, which is also new, I think. And then the novelty is that you do have a name for your colors. All right, so by default, you will have the hex code of that color, which I find convenient. But if you want to change that, you can call that whatever you like awesome orange. And this color will be called awesome orange. For whatever reason, this might be something you like to do. Then if you continue scrolling, you will get to your font section. Remember how you used to have only 3 different font hierarchy you could set? Well, now this has been bumped to 9 different styles with your font and your text. So you have your title, subtitle, heading. That's what we had before. Now you have subheading, section header, body, quote, and caption. So we can now set more styles, more predefined text. And by all means, everything I'm saying now, apart from the color palette, is only available for Pro users. Okay, so don't freak out if you don't see this. I'm just giving you the breakdown following what's here in my Pro account. Next, you will have your photos. So I added all of my no background photos. Then you have a section with graphics. So the graphics could be anything really. It could be elements. Me, I use the different thumbnails that I use for courses. I use different patterns that we use for backgrounds. And then you have a last section for your icons. Could be your website icons, could be custom emojis like we have here, etc., etc. So basically there are more ingredients inside your brand kits and therefore your Brand Hub. And you can navigate through these different sections very conveniently from this menu right here. So if I want to go back to my colors, just click on this item right here, back to my icons. So I love that we can now navigate to the different sections right here. And obviously, these are ported over the editor. So if I come back to the editor and hit on Brand Hub right here, I should see all of these different brand ingredients right here. So it is super convenient. Now, let's talk about features that will allow not just you, but also your team to remain on brand. I'm talking about some brand control features that have been recently announced at Canva Create. So for this, again, starting from the homepage, going straight to the Brand Hub, and before clicking on any of these brand kits right here, you can see the menu right here on your left. The first one is Brand Kit, then you have your brand templates with all your different brand templates that you have created, and then you have your brand controls. Now, this is going to pop up in your Canva account if you have the necessary permission. So if you're just a member of a team and somebody else is the owner of that team, you might not see these brand controls. But if you are the owner or the brand designer of the team, you will have access to these brand controls. So what do they do? Well, the first one right here is color control. Okay, so it will restrict your team to access all of the colors, and your team will be limited to the colors that you have set in your different brand kits and the brand kits you have given them access to. So this could be very cool if you're working for a big company and you really need to stick to a specific color palette. Well, you just turn this slider on and then people in your team will be limited to the colors of that specific brand kit that you created. Similarly, you can turn on font control. So it will restrict your team to access your brand fonts only and disable adding text effects to your design. So there won't be like curving text and adding shadows and all of this fancy stuff that you could do with text that could look a bit off-brand if you work for a bigger company. That could be very useful. So similarly, just toggle this on, and there you go, you have turned on font control. And then the last brand control right here is design approval. That is if you want somebody in your team to approve any design created by, I would say, the simple members of your team. So people who might be working in any departments that are creating, let's say, a poster for the company, and you would like one of your template designers to kind of approve this to make sure there's no funky stuff going on there. So you would turn on design approval, and you need, when you turn that on, you need to decide who will be the approver. So you select someone, you save that, and then every time a regular team member creates a design, it will go back to Diana. She will have a notification. She will need to approve that design first. So all of these brand control features really gives you more control over your brand, which I know is super important for, I would say, medium and larger companies, and also for small companies that are serious about their brand identity. But the fact that Canva introduced these brand control features really shows that they are making a statement that anybody can design in your company. You don't need to hire a designer, you don't need a professional designer to do all the heavy lifting. Canva now gives teams these safeguards to avoid going off rail and really creating some not on brand content. So really like that. I think this is going to be saving a lot of time for many companies. And then there is brand guidelines.
Brand guidelines. You're now able to add instructions and guidelines so teams instantly understand how to use and how not to use all the brand ingredients at their fingertips.
So we can kiss goodbye to those 100-page guidelines no one ever reads. And now you can easily access your living guidelines right there where you need them the most.
So brand guidelines is an easy way to give some instructions to your team, to your teammate, when it comes to using your logo, the images, the graphics, or the icons that they might find in the brand kit you have given them access to. So let me show you how to set them up. For this, very easy. We start from the homepage and go to your brand hub right here. Then you have to select the brand kit. Let's go for Ronnie's brand kit. And there you go. So I have my different sections right here. I believe I can add guidelines for any of these sections. The way you do it, just click on the Add New button right here. And now you have the option right here to add guidelines. So I'm gonna do this for my logos. And I have prepared, I'm just gonna paste it, 3 little bullet points. Let's use the Run GPT logo for every tutorial and document related to AI. So this one right here, like ChatGPT, Midjourney. We use the yellow squared photo for social media, so this one, and we use the Canva expert badges, these ones, for everything else. So that is kind of my 3 guidelines for logo usage. So I'm gonna save that right here. And I could do the same for colors, could add guidelines for every single section for the fonts, and you will see where that will go. So it is saved. I can now switch back to the editor. What you see right here is a community post we created earlier, a couple of weeks earlier, when we hit 300,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. What I want to show you is where you can actually read these guidelines. So you can see I am on my Brand Hub tab right here. So I need to locate my logo section. So the first one right here, and when I click on see all, my brand guidelines will show up here on top of the logo. So anyone in my team can read that, read these instructions when it comes to using these logos. So I find this super useful. Instead of having separate PDFs, instead of having to communicate these guidelines verbally, or we might get lost. Now every time someone in my team needs to use one of these logos, they have the information they need right there where the actual logos are. So this is really nice, and again, I love that you can create guidelines for every single section of your brand kit. I think this is a very useful addition. There's one more feature that I think I should mention before I move on to the last announcement that was made at Canva Create, and this is a good one, so you don't want to miss it. And this one is called Pin to Folder. So it is a little feature, a little improvement, and let me show you how it works. So for that, I'm gonna head over to my projects and open a folder. So let's go to my tutorials, for example. So here is where we produce all of our tutorials. And let's go to Pro Tips right here, which is another folder. And this is our new series on the channel. So there you go. You see this first document right here that is pinned to the folder. Okay, so this is actually the brand guidelines, a presentation that contains kind of like the concept of the show, the brand guidelines I created for my team, for our video editor, for our graphic designers who will be working on the production of these episodes together with me. I wanted them to have quick access to this one document. So I was able to pin it to the folder, meaning they will show this first here on top in this section, and it's super easy to find this document. So how did I do that? Well, first, let me unpin this. So unpinned, if you enter a folder which has no item pinned, it will look like that. If you want to pin, let's say, this style guide, just click on the 3 little dots right here and locate pin to folder. So that is how you pin an element, pin a specific design. This works with a graphic, a photo, a logo, a design, anything really. You can pin things to the top of your folder. And I think you can pin several things. Yes, you can pin more than one element, which I'm not going to do. I just want to have my episode style guide right here pinned to this folder. So that's just a neat little feature that I wanted to show you. It is available to all users and on all devices.
I'm excited to reveal that from today, we've partnered with one of the world's premier font foundries, Monotype.
Yes! That is my type of announcement.
So yeah, last but not least, Canva announced their partnership with Monotype, which is a huge font library which sells subscription to access their different types. Canva made a deal with them, and you can now access some of the most iconic fonts like Garamond, Helvetica, Arial, Futura, Avenir. A bunch of these classic fonts that we are used to and see everywhere are now available in Canva. The partnership goes over 1,000 font types that you will be able to find. Let me show you just some of them. For example, one that I really like is called Futura. Okay, so Futura. This one is actually available for free. So you see there's no Pro Crown. And I really like this one. This font is super clean, like has some really nice attributes going on there. Another one that you might be interested in is Helvetica. Helvetica, and you will actually have the entire font family here for Helvetica. Helvetica Now, you have Helvetica, the classic one. So just like so, Canva even broadened the font library. So it was already huge, but now they are adding some really brand names, some curated fonts to the mix. Some of them will be available for free, others will be part of the Pro package. But yeah, I really recommend you to go and search for them. We will try to create some content about our favorite fonts from this new partnership because they could be a little bit overwhelming to search for. But yeah, something that Canva did though, to make it easier to search for font, they added more tags right here under your search box. So you should see some more tags here. You should see stuff like bold, elegant, vintage, cool, retro, calligraphy, minimal, brush. You see a bunch of new tags here that should make it easier for you to find the right type of fonts. So hopefully you enjoy these new fonts, this new addition to the already quite extensive font choice in Canva. And that's all I have for you guys today.
Wow, wow, wow.
Thank you, Cliff. I'm glad you enjoyed this episode and thank you for creating Canva. I'm gonna leave you guys with this other video right here. This is video 1 where I review all of the AI-powered features also announced at Canva Create. So make sure you watch this one next.